All right, what's up, everybody? We have Echo here, and we have uh, Antonio. I figured I'd try and respond to some of the criticisms that I've been getting from Sam and JD Kain. I was going to try to edit together a video, but quite honestly, I don't want to sit back and put my time aside to edit together a 15-minute video, because that would take just 2 hours anyways, just to edit together the video that I think that would be sufficient by grabbing all the information from different sources. Instead, we'll just listen to what these people are saying and we'll respond to it, because I honestly don't think that it would take too long to deal with what they're saying. So I'm going to screen share this. Let me know if you guys can see me screen sharing.
Yep. So far, yeah.
Okay, you see it?
Yep. There you go.
All right, tell me if the audio is loud enough to hear, okay?
Visual identity.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about earlier on.
Well, hold on real quick. I don't know if Veckel's listening, but
yeah, I can hear you.
From my end, it was kind of breaking up. I don't know if that's the same for your end, Veckel.
Yeah, it does sound a little choppy. Yeah. Oh, more talking garbage or talking stupidity Tuesdays, huh? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah. That's David Kain. That's how he makes his money.
Okay, can you guys, you said the audio is breaking up?
Yes.
On
You
occasion.
can hear in there a little bit.
All right, let's try one more time.
Okay.
Maybe it's I think it's my microphone, man. My mic has just been giving me trouble. Let's try it again.
It's highly, the gene is highly expressed.
Still
To be
breaking.
expressed, because it's highly expressed and it's crucially important. And look at the writing and
Still breaking, man.
Yeah. It's still a little choppy.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
What do you guys be like?
Yeah, we can hear you, Cleveland.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Cleveland?
Not much. Just finished my workout over here at Walmart, getting some stuff for the workshop.
Cool. Is my voice breaking up? Is my voice breaking up on your end, Veckel?
No, you sound fine. It's I think it may be True's connection actually, because he sounded a little choppy even before he started playing the video.
Yeah, it sounded good at first, and then right before we started, it started getting choppy.
All right, let me try to refresh. That might be the problem, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Yep.
It's not too bad, but it could be better. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Did I have you added to my circles, Cleveland?
I don't know, man.
Well, let's find out.
But if you don't, man, you're missing out on such awesomeness that is me.
Well,
Another,
looks like I do have you added. Okay. Maybe you
I wonder why you like to
get
get increasingly better. Probably have. I don't know, man.
Maybe you have to add me back or something.
I don't know. Maybe I do. Maybe I do.
All right, how's this, guys?
That's better.
Better.
All right, cool.
Sounds like garbage. No, I'm just playing.
at least you don't sound choppy, at least for right now.
Yeah.
You may have to talk for a little bit in order for us to really know.
All right, well, I'll try to screen
Hey,
share
it's
again, and we'll see how this plays.
Okay, now Cleveland's choppy.
Tell me what. Chop.
Yeah, you was choppy for a sec there, but you cool now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, does anybody know what pepperoni is made out of?
It's made out of that swine, brother. It's made out of that swine.
For this transaction.
Swine and dine.
It's swine and cardboard.
Do anything.
Quote definition I haven't dealt with. I mean, I just looked at the transcript.
I didn't. I mean, I didn't look. He's been saying that as well, but that's something that Tompkins had brought up. But no one. I mean, here's the thing, though: is Ronnie fucked up because someone in my lab just is in the middle of publishing a paper in a prominent journal about how basically co-expression networks don't really help you in inferring functional relationships. So even if there was, it wouldn't really help their arguments. It wouldn't determine their... I mean, Tompkins is so far out of his depth with what he is trying to go... what he did is sort of like what you would expect like a college senior to do, which is just to slapdash throw a bunch of things at the wall without any in-depth analysis.
I wonder if it's on.
Keep in mind, guys, they're saying that. You guys heard that okay? Was it breaking up for you?
Yep, I can hear it.
Yeah, it was perfect on my end.
All right, cool. So keep in mind, he's saying that who is way out of their depth is a PhD in genetics. He's way out of his depth. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
Yeah, the arrogance, it doesn't, it never ceases to amaze me, the arrogance of these people.
Well, I mean, it's one thing to say that about me or Nephilim Free or somebody within our community, but I think you need to stop when you're coming in contact with somebody like Tompkins. I mean,
yeah, a distinguished PhD geneticist, like really, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not only his PhD. It's that he's done a lot of scientific work in genetics. The dude's published like 56 articles. That is a lot of work, and another 17 afterwards. So you can't sit over here and say this guy doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's like he's throwing crap against the wall and hoping that it sticks.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to bring Tompkins down to his level. That's what he's trying to do.
Really understands this stuff, but this is what he's got to do because of the statement of faith that he signed before he works with
It's a mix. I mean, he's probably not that well informed, right? Like he just said, "Oh, look, it's overexpressing these tissues," without even any argument to it. I was just like looking at it, and I'm like, you can't just say things and then not provide a figure or tables. And then
he lied right there. He just lied right there. Did you hear what he said? We'll go back to the Fusion site. The Tompkins article. This is his article. I'll scroll up here so that you guys can see it.
Yeah, didn't he say like he didn't provide like a table or figures?
Yeah, he didn't provide any information. Later on, I think Fiona talks about how Tompkins was actually citation bluffing. Down here, you scroll down here where he starts to talk about it.
Did she back up the claim that she made about him bluffing about his citation?
No, I think what she tries to do is she tries to show where the transcription region wasn't found, but it's ridiculous because he links it right over here so that you guys can go check it out and the source of where he got it from. But anyways, like right here, here's where it talks about it. DDXL11L2 is highly expressed by co-expressed with the DDX11. And if you read it, I guess I should read it out here so that you guys can hear it. This is the gene annotation and analysis portal lists significant levels of expression data for the DDXL11L2 gene and 16 out of 31 major tissue types found in the human body. Because pseudogenes have been shown to produce transcripts involved in the regulation of their protein coding homologies, expression patterns for the DDX11 protein coding gene were also queried at the biogps.org. And he's given you the sources, okay, that you can go to the biogps.org so you can check it out. Both DDXL11L2 and its homology, DDX11, were found to be expressed in the same major tissue categories. In addition to the GeneInvestigator.com biomedical database, significant levels of gene expression for DDX11L2 in 255 different cell and or tissue types. Now here's the source that he was using for this to justify what he was talking about. He's showing you these different tissues and so on. Right here it says that the BioGPS list of the gene expression by major tissue category for the DDX11L2 pseudogene and the DDX11 protein coding gene expression tissue categories are identical for both genes, and the co-express database right over here. This is what he linked. You take this article right over here. This is the article that he was talking about. So this is what he was referencing when he was talking right now. He says in the co-express DP database, DDX11L2 gene is co-expressed at high levels with a variety of different blood cell development and chromatin remodeling genes, including linked expression with the protein coding DDX11 gene. Ranked at 27, the co-express index with DDX11L2 as mentioned above. The co-expression data provides possible clues concerning the regulatory role of DDX11L2 transcripts in association with DDX11 protein coding transcripts. So what he was talking about was absolutely not true whatsoever. He linked it right over here. You can go check out the source material that he was talking about. Let's continue listening to what these clowns got to say.
Yeah, I
the funniest thing was Ronnie got into this big dick measuring contest where he's like, no, Tompkins is so qualified, you don't know what you're talking about. I go, man, I'm looking at his CV. He's a good scientist at what he did, but what he did is not related to what the topic of the paper is.
Well, Sam, if you have to sign a statement of faith saying that no evidence can conflict with your worldview position of a young Earth, can you really call that person a scientist any longer? Or they have lost all objectivity?
No, he was not doing science.
What does I want to
Steve.
You know, I often hear J.D. Kain bring this up a lot about the issue of the statement of faith and stuff. It can't be really science unless it, if you find anything that contradicts the Bible, then you have to, you can't agree with it or anything like that. I'm just curious to hear your take on that, True, because this is something that's brought up all the time, as if these statement of faith with these ministries and organizations are, I don't know, trying to deny something scientific. I don't think that's the issue. I think the problem is their interpretation of what's being observed, and they're trying. Because I think those statements of faith are saying that you're supposed to be honest with the material that you find, and that you can't agree with anything that is not only in contrast to the Bible, but also that's just not true. And
exactly.
I think they're just taking that at surface level, and as they do with the Bible, they don't read it. They don't actually read the material. They just kind of browse through it and look for keywords.
Well, what they're doing is they're using the statement of faith that the Christians make that are in these organizations to smear them, use it as a sort of ad hom to attack their characters, them personally, rather than paying attention to the work that they're looking into. That's all that statement makes, because they have a position of faith to where they're going to defend their beliefs, that therefore the work or the arguments that are being presented therefore should be discredited or something, or they're on
Here's the thing, though, brothers. Their statement of faith seems to me no different than your average typical mission statement for a particular organization or other entity. People have certain mission statements based on things they believe in, what they stand for. So I mean, what the heck is the big deal that they would have a statement of faith? I mean, just about any kind of organization has something similar to that, or a mission statement of some sort. That doesn't mean anything against the information or the arguments thereof. That's just ridiculous. Right. People make that argument.
Well, they use that as a means to declare that a Christian that's a part of these organizations is not obligated to only agree with the Christian worldview, if you will, of regarding science. So if they see in other words, according to them, if we find something contrary to the Word of God, then that person can't be a part of that ministry anymore.
It's almost like, well, it's almost like they're insinuating that because they're going to be part of the faith and they're making this statement of faith that they will lie if information disagrees with it. So all information, for example, is going to be, interpreted to benefit the Christian faith. That's what they're trying to say. It's almost like attacking their character personally, that they're going to lie if they have to because they got to defend their faith. That's almost like what it comes off as.
Well, they can attack the statement all they wish, but they're going to have to prove that they actually was deliberately, for whatever reason, being dishonest around the time said claims are made. Not try to poison the well and use that before
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, Tompkins always gets a lot of...
You're poisoning the well.
That's pretty much what it comes down to, poisoning the well. But Tompkins, he's used to this. I mean, he gets a lot of heat from all sorts of people, especially everything gone in this direction, getting involved with these creation ministries. So, I mean, it's not surprising. I mean, if you get somebody high up there like Tompkins, I mean, we see it. We see it here in our little community as well. The hostility, the negativity, anything that challenges their views or their opinions or is defending the Christian faith in any sort of way, we're attacked on a regular basis. So, I mean, it's not going to be surprising that we're going to be seeing all this hostility and negativity towards these people involved in these organizations that have these PhDs in geology or genetics or molecular biology because those people are dangerous, So, of course, I mean, this isn't really surprising that we're going to hear them attack their statement of faith so that, they could somehow discredit their work that they're doing. This is how they play. But I'm gonna go back to this video and I'm gonna try to screen share it again. All right, guys?
Okay.
We'll continue playing it.
Sounds good. Okay.
All right.
The more Ronnie talks, he was saying, well, no one has refuted Tompkins' work. Well, I found something, and I think a few other people found something, and I found something else in 2014.
Nobody has refuted Tompkins' work. Absolutely nobody has refuted what Tompkins has said. I've had a lot of people sending me articles, so actually a lot of it isn't even peer-reviewed articles. A lot of it is like some guy like P.Z. Myers talking on some blog spot or some other, article that may or may not have something to do with it. Sometimes it's just a quote from Tompkins that an evolutionist disagreed with, so they're bashing him and attacking him. I mean, all they're doing is they're going and they're finding the first article or the first blog or post that some scientist has made about him. They're just Googling it. They're giving it to me like I'm supposed to take it seriously. But every single statement that they've made thus far has failed. I mean, you guys hear me say statements like that, but really they have failed hard this time. The translocation thing with Robertsonian translocation, they know full well that happens at the centromeres. That doesn't happen at the telomeres. And they're trying to say that it's a telomere fusion. Okay, you can't have it both ways. It is a centromere fusion, or is it a telomere fusion? Because Robertsonian translocations, we never see anything like that happen. They didn't even know where the fusion freaking site was. They didn't even know where the fusion site was. They kept telling me that it was located in the middle, and it's not located in the middle.
Who are they saying, or did you already give that example already? Who are they saying refuted these Tompkins already?
They were saying...
Because I like to know.
They really haven't shown anything that refuted Tompkins. They said that I think they were trying to use Ken Miller's emails to try to make it sound like Ken Miller, that Tompkins lied about Ken Miller. But all it is they're not showing the original emails. It's Ken Miller responding to somebody who had gotten a hold of Ken Miller.
That's hilarious. It's like they're using side commentaries, spinning them, and running with them as refutations. That's hilarious, man.
Right, and let's pay very close attention to this. You notice one thing. Till this day, they are not trying to justify a telomere-telomere fusion actually happening. To this day, they're not dealing with what we observe happening when we see a telomere-telomere fusion, like in cancer cells. You can knock out, for example, a centromere, and if you can stabilize the telomeres, then you can have you can see a telomere-telomere fusion. But what ends up happening, you get cancerous or tumorous cells. So I mean, they're not dealing with the dangers if you were to have some sort of telomeres touching each other or some sort of interaction with the telomeres like this, or if a telomere can be stabilized like we're seeing inside of humans. You guys got to pay attention to that. Everybody who's listening to me, because they are not justifying or meeting their burden of proof here. They keep on trying to get onto side issues. Like right over here, they're talking about the database right over here, Tompkins database. They lied right through their teeth. If we go back, can you guys see what I'm screen sharing?
No, not yet.
Okay, let me see this real quick.
But is there a direct example of a telomere-telomere fusion that has been stabilized that you can directly observe that shows evidence of what they're claiming?
There's absolutely no telomere-telomere fusion like we see in the human body. Absolutely none. And let me be careful with how I just said that too, because the chromosome 2 fusion site is not telomere-telomere fusion. The telomere-like sequences are going to be proven.
We got a lot of noise somewhere.
Yeah,
That's me, man. That's me at the Walmart.
Oh.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I want to be very careful with what I'm saying, because there are telomeric-like sequences, but it's not a telomere-telomere fusion. It's not a telomere fusion at all. The transcription factor binding region, you can see it crossing over the whole site. So it's not at all a telomere-telomere fusion. They also have to deal with another problem, adding on to this, that there are telomeric-like sequences found all over the genome. So which spot do you want to pick to choose where the fusion site was, guys? Make your decision. Can you guys see what I'm screen sharing now?
Yep. Now we can see it, yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Give me 1 second here. I can't find it. Hold on a second. Well, hold on, let me take this off screen share, because I think I got it actually in my document. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. It is actually right here. All right. So the alleged fusion site right over here. They try to say that the database isn't found. I think they were using BLAT, I believe. I think that's what he was using. I usually get those two mixed up because I don't use the... Yep, right over here. So it says that the USCS genome browser data showing selected gene annotations and ENCODE-related tracks for the DDX11L2 gene locus with the 798 bases fusion site positioned with the locus using BLAT. The database that they were using was BLAT. I always confuse these two though, so I'm going to check this out really quick for you guys. Can you guys see what I'm screen sharing?
Yep.
See Google.
I don't ever usually use these database, so usually when I'm okay, so here's the differences between BLAT and BLAST. Yeah, see, because I was going to say the wrong thing. BLAST, it's basically a sequence alignment tool. It's supposed to be similar to BLAST. So this is what the database that they were using. I was going to say something different, so I'm glad that I wouldn't check this out just now. But this is the data, the alignment tool that they were using. So for you guys' information, because they were trying to say that, well, he didn't use, or he doesn't use the right kind of database, or he doesn't use a database or something like that. But you guys were listening to what they were talking about. That's not true at all. He actually references it and talks about it right there inside of the very article. And it's just like, if they were to just sit back and actually read the article, the information that they would be asking for. I'm going to mute you, all right, Cleveland? Because we get some word feedback.
Jones is back.
So, yeah, if you check out what everything that he was actually saying, if you actually read it, he tells you flat out the genome browser data showing a selected gene annotation and ENCODE related tracks for the DDX11L2 gene locus with the 798 base fusion site positioned with the locus using BLAT. Analysis image access of the genome, and he even gives you where they found it at, where they what they used. Right over here.
Where is that feedback coming from?
This is what he used right here, I believe. Yeah, you guys can hear that noise in the background. I apologize.
What noise?
It sounds like a plane.
Oh, okay.
It's just some equipment I got in the back. It's really distracting.
It's all good.
So, yeah, so I'm gonna play this again, I guess, so that we can listen a little bit more. But I mean, all you guys have to do, if you guys want to see, look at the real information, check out what data was being used and all that other nonsense that they were saying wasn't shown, or the work wasn't shown. All you got to do is go look at the article and read and look at the references that he was giving, because he was giving references, and if he was cross-examining these references, and he was comparing some of the homologies or the similar sequences that you're finding in what was it? This article right over here, guys, in the side for the database for animal species by DNA microarray and RNA sequence bases, expression data with multiple quality assessment systems. This is the article that he was using. So he was using this in reference. There you go, guys. Here's the link right here. All right. Yeah, so everything that they were saying, I mean, it's just 100% wrong. We're going to sit back and we're going to listen a little bit more to what these guys are saying, because it's just more nonsense from a bunch of people who don't know what they're talking about.
All over the place where people have refuted Tompkins' work.
Well, this keeps coming up because of Evolution News and Casey Luskin and a few other people that have actually been promoting this stuff over and over again to try to keep it alive, just to try to say this kind of, the
and who are these people? Casey Luskin's a lawyer. Who gives a shit about any of this stuff?
Yeah, this is.
Yeah, Casey Luskin may be a lawyer, but Tompkins isn't. Okay, Tompkins isn't a lawyer. Tompkins has a degree and the experience right where it needs to be. Okay, so that's what we need to pay attention to.
It's a new Piltdown man or something.
I mean, it's just one of those things where we actually put in time of looking at all of these different things, and it's very clear that all he did was read Casey Luskin's article.
Do you know what I wrote?
Now remember, guys, he said it's very clear that all he did was read Casey Luskin's article. Do you really think that a geneticist is just going to go read Casey Luskin's article? Do you really think that that's going to happen?
Exactly. Just the arrogance and the presumptions they're making is just beyond baffling to me.
Well, they're insulting everybody's intelligence. As if I didn't link the article for everybody to go read. He's given a lot of information here. He's given you screenshots. So Fiona keeps screen sharing that little section from her website where she couldn't find it. But guess what? He shared it. Can you guys see what I'm showing?
Yeah, and they just sound so patronizing,
He screen shared it and he linked it. So you can't sit over here and lie, and because you're looking for something in a place where somewhere else. He's giving you the link right over here so you can check it out, and he's giving you the screenshot of this information. So there's no getting around this. I mean, there's no getting around this point. The fact of the matter is that you guys are you're being silly. Nobody here cares about Casey Luskin. We care about what Tompkins is saying and the information that he's presenting right here, because that's what's important right here. We're concerned with the data, and the fact that you guys gotta keep on poisoning the well and twisting things up like you guys are doing. It shows that you don't have any responses to the actual points, which is hilarious. Because Heavy Hauler, for example, I keep on listening to him at a lot of these hangouts, and he's just like this cheerleader in the background that will never ever come into your room so we can talk these things out. I know he probably thinks that this information has been presented, but there's literally been not one source, not one piece of information given, not one dealing with these criticisms that have been directed to them. They just keep trying to sidetrack it.
That was going to be my question. My question is because I see you screen sharing a bunch of stuff regarding this whole discussion with this issue with Tompkins, but I haven't seen but then again I haven't watched the entire hangout anyway. But have you watched this entire episode of Talking Stupidity?
No. This is actually my first time watching it. Just got home from work and
I'm wondering if they've bothered to screen share anything validating their claims against Tompkins.
What I'm looking for is one in-depth peer-reviewed paper critically analyzing Tompkins' findings and addressing the problems with them and refuting them. From what I can tell, there's not been a single such paper out there anywhere.
Right, Tompkins. Yeah, well, because there is none. Do you know what Sam did actually? Sam gave me an article from 1991. This article was one of the original articles where it started talking about the chromosome 2 fusion. When they all got excited and said, what, we found a fusion site where you're seeing a telomere fusion. There's been a lot of information gathered since then, and all of this new information that's against this notion of this telomeric fusion is what we're pointing out right now. So it's like what he did was he tried to defend the claim or refute the responses to the claim by reciting the claim, repeating the claim. It's like me making a claim, God exists, and then you come to me and say, well, God doesn't exist because of X, Y, and Z, and then I say, well, God exists. You know, that's not really what we're looking for, right? We're looking for we're looking for you to deal with the responses that we're giving you towards your claim.
Rational mind is saying on the outside that Tompkins' work wasn't peer-reviewed, so they're not going to have a peer-reviewed response to it.
Oh, it was peer-reviewed. It was just not peer-reviewed under their organizations that they wish that it would have been peer-reviewed.
Ah, I see.
Right. It's sort of like the situation with the Smithsonian. What were they saying? Some of the evolutionists that were outraged because the intelligent design article got published through. If it would have been evolutionists that would have been looking through the article, then it wouldn't have been passed. What is that even? What are they trying to say by that? By saying something like that. So yeah. Well, I mean, that's literally what some of the claims were towards the article that got published through the Smithsonian. That if evolutionist biologists were to have looked at it, then the article wouldn't have been published, which is really silly because what are they trying to say by that? If we had people that disagree with you, and therefore it wouldn't have been passed, what do they say about all the other evolution articles that have been published? And everybody in their circles are evolutionists that agree with those articles, right? Are they therefore not credible because people already agree with evolution to begin with? So yeah, we're going to continue listening, guys.
Okay.
Think about this. Really ironic is that in that hangout where we were sitting desperately trying to work out the coordinates of the fusion site and all the rest of it, and Ronnie was laughing that we were struggling. But what he didn't realise was that we were using Tompkins' paper to try and identify it. And this is what we couldn't find his. He was citing references, and when we go to the references, they're not saying what Tompkins was claiming they were saying. In other words, Tompkins was citation bluffing. I mean, it's hilarious that we actually struggled, but we were struggling with Tompkins' paper. You shouldn't have to struggle like that with somebody's paper. The information should be there. So for Ronnie to laugh that we struggled only shows how bad the paper.
Yeah, that's a flat-out lie. And you guys saw me screen share it. You can go to the original sources. You can go check it out. I'll screen share it again so that you guys can check it out. Give me 1 second here. He gives you all the sources. He gives you screenshots for the sources. You can go and read what it's talking about. For example, down here where he's talking about the co-expressed, the highly expressed and co-expressed with DDXL, and he's comparing the homologies. You can go to this paper right over here, check it out. It's talking about exactly what he's trying to point out to. The animal species and DNA microarray and RNA sequence spaces expressed with the data and multiple quality assessment. So this is the database. If you read it, you go through it. This is what he's referencing. He's giving you articles. So yeah, you can compare the homologies like he's trying to do. You can look at all the data that he's pointing to. I mean, this is just flat out wrong. It's another accusation that is just 100% not true. He sourced all of his material. You can go check out the material. It all connects. We're not asking if you guys agree with this, but at this point, I think that at this point, you just need to be a little bit more honest about what the article actually says and what he's referencing. Because, I mean, you guys are just being flat out dishonest. I mean, even right over here, he's giving you a screenshot of this fusion site, trying to point it out. So yeah, he's got sources pointing out all over the place that I didn't even click onto yet.
Yeah, they're putting his research on par with a flat Earth. That's why they're not responding to it. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, this is the source that he was referencing right here. They did not deal with this place where he was that he was referencing, where he was getting this black data from. So I mean, they're being dishonest, because I haven't actually seen anybody get into what was actually said right here towards this site. So they're not being honest here at all. It's just like everything else. I mean, at the beginning of the site of this video, actually, when I started watching it with J.D. Kain, it's a little bit of a side issue, but what's his name? I forget his name. Steve. He flat out lied. Earlier today, I was in the comment section for a few seconds, and John was talking about more of this situation with comparing anatomies of different organisms during the Cambrian and so on. And I said basically, all right, you know what, I don't have time right now for us to talk, but I've dealt with this numerous times already. If you guys want to have a discussion within a couple of weeks, we can talk about it. Take it easy. He went and said that I went to go start another hangout, and that I just said that he was wrong. No. You know, and the way that he was trying to spin it was that, like, I was trying to get some sort of echo chamber going, because I didn't want to have a discussion with them. That's not true. That's not true at all. He lied through his teeth right there. And they do stuff like this. You guys got to pay attention to it, where they're twisting things or they're making little remarks like that, because all they're trying to do is trying to be negative. That's all they're trying to do. They're trying to make little statements like that. Just to try to make the other side look bad. I mean, right here, like what they're trying to say towards this article, none of this is true. None of them have even dealt with any of the claims or the links that were given within inside of this article. None of them did. All of the links that are inside of this article, I have not found one person in our community dealing with any of the links that were given by Tompkins. So by them saying that, well, we looked at the links don't support what they're saying, that's not true. That's 100% not true, and everybody and anybody can go look at the links. I got the link out there for people to go look at. Check out what Tompkins' article says. Look at the many different links that he's trying to source, the screenshots and so on, and you'll see that these people who are saying that, well, he's not referencing anything, or he's not showing you the data, or he's getting the information, or what database he's going to, or anything like that. All of these statements are 100% lies, or their ignorance of the article. They didn't even look into the article to read it.
Lot I can say to that, man. But of course, by me saying certain things, of course, they'll immediately jump to the conclusion that I'm generalizing, and you know, also I don't want to change the subject, but yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't really speak too much on the topic, but it seems to me that a lot of times these people seem to be just contradicting a lot of the things that you're saying just for the sake of doing it. Because I don't know. I guess because, well, I mean, I don't know. It just seems like the arrogance that I see in some of these individuals just leads them to this utterly arbitrary disagreement or contrary position that you have.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm coming to that conclusion, one of the reasons why I'm coming to that conclusion is because, again, as we're watching this hangout of theirs, they're making all these claims, but I don't see any attempt to expose or present anything that supports their position against Tompkins.
And they keep saying, why don't he try to get his work assessed in the mainstream journals and articles and whatnot. But here's my thing, okay? They wouldn't say an evolutionist or whatever should go to creationist scientists and get their stuff peer-reviewed by them. They won't make that claim. And who are running the mainstream peer-review circles and processes? You know, fallible men who have particular biases about certain things, no different than those who are not evolutionists, who have their own, human biases about certain things as well. So they can't use that argument to discredit something.
Well, they don't have any argument at all. At this point, they have nothing, and I don't have any confidence that they're going to provide anything anyways. There are several different criticisms that have been directed to them, and not one of them has been dealt with. Not one, literally not one criticism has been dealt with about the long non-coding RNAs that you find there. You knock one of those long non-coding RNAs out, how detrimental it would be for living organisms, and there's evidence supporting that that actually leads to cancers. Not to mention the fact that in most tumorous cells that you find, you can stabilize the telomeres, of course, and you can knock out one of the centromeres, and that you can see the telomeres fused. But what ends up happening, you again have tumorous cells or cancerous cells. It is dangerous for the living organism. That's even if you just have the telomeres just touching each other or just reacting a certain way with each other, like they're claiming could happen or would happen and during whatever event. So it's nonsense all the way across the board. The fact that you've got this fusion where this fusion site is, the DX11L2, you have the transcription factor and binding region all the way across the site. So it's ridiculous. The telomeric fusions, the telomeric sequences are degraded to the point to where you don't even see it anymore. About 40 sequences I've heard, and they've only have about three. Well, it's supposed to be a 3,000 to 2,500 telomeric sequences, but there's only about 40. And one of the references that he was talking about the you get more by the right of the site. There's about 150 to 200 sequences to the right of the site, but 3,000 sequences are supposed to be there. That's a pretty bad problem. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. The fact that you find telomeric sequences all over the genome. I mean, there's just nothing but problems with this, and none of these problems have been dealt with. They're criticizing. Notice this. They're criticizing the database. Where is he getting his data from? Well, his sources don't justify what he's saying and all that other nonsense. That's not true. You can look at the article. He's linking his articles. He's linking his sources. The sources are confirming what he's getting at, what he's talking about, why he's using them, and the way that he's using them. So you can't sit over and say something like that. He's explaining to you what the data is that he's using. He's explaining the data sets that he's using, the sites that he's using. He's explaining all of that. All of that is within inside of the website or his article. So it's nonsense. And I hope people are really watching and listening to this, because we have a lot of people running their mouth in Hangouts and getting carried away with a bunch of BS, but that's not the same thing as having a refutation or proving anything wrong. I hope people are really paying attention to that. Seriously, does any amount of condescending remarks by Sam equate to refutation to his article? No, of course not. Does any amount of remarks that Fiona is presenting of straw manning or of citation bluffing discredit any of these criticisms whatsoever? No, absolutely not. And as a matter of fact, the citation bluffing nonsense is 100% incorrect. And everybody can go back to this article. I'll link it again in the description after I put this video up. They can all go check it out and see that he is not citation bluffing. In the context of what he's trying to argue for, they are 100% in alignment, those articles that he's referencing.
And they keep saying it's not about evolutionist versus creationist journals. It's about the scientific journals versus the creationist journals. Well, I can say the same thing. It's actually about the evolutionist journals versus the scientific journals. But where does that get us anywhere? That gets us absolutely nowhere. Trying to claim which side is actually the science side. Deal with what's actually said. Stop trying to pass the buck to these authorities that you look at and deal with what is actually said. Period.
Phony Beetle Maniac says, you can go back to it so I can read it. He says human chromosome 2, it's repeatable, testable, and peer-reviewed, and Tompkins hasn't refuted it. No. There's a lot of articles out there referencing the chromosome 2 fusion site, but there is absolutely not one article out there proving that it was a chromosome 2 fusion site. Every single telomere fusion, this is not a matter of opinion, this is a fact. Every single telomere fusion is only found, I believe 30 or 20% of the tumor cells, and every single time you're seeing them inside of those cells, those cancerous cells, they're obviously dangerous for a living organism. There was absolutely no telomere fusion stabilized and passed down like we're seeing in the human genome. There was absolutely none. That is not a matter of opinion. That is a matter of fact, and that this is just a fact of life. The fact that they're denying this fact is equivalent to denying reality, and this isn't up for debate here. What they have to do is now turn reality around and say, well, you know what? Satellite DNA fusions are not the only types of fusions that are stable. Satellite DNA to telomere fusions are not the only type of fusions that are stable. Telomere fusions can actually be stable, like we're seeing inside of living organisms that pass it on. So that's the problem here. They've got to prove that a telomere fusion like this can actually happen. They just can't reference it and say, oh, well, therefore this was a telomere fusion. They can't just say something like that because there's no evidence supporting that. The telomeric sequences are so degraded to the point to where it's just ridiculous to even believe this. We don't have a reason to believe that it's a fusion site. I want people to really think about this for a second, because for us here in this room, Christians, creationists, whatever, we don't have any stake on this. If we're wrong about this fusion site, well, great. We're wrong. I mean, I don't think we really care. But
yeah, as far as I can tell, it's not a huge issue.
But you guys have to care about this, because if there's no chromosome 2 fusion site there, then there's no evidence of man evolving. There's no evidence of man, the progression of man, that man shared a common ancestor. We don't really care about it, because even if there's a rearranging or repackaging of the chromosomes, well, who cares? I mean, what matters there is the information content within inside of the chromosomes. But you guys have to care about this, because chromosomes can't just disappear like that. Right? Then people know this. Chromosomes can't just disappear like that. So if we only have 23 pairs of chromosomes, and apes are supposed to have more chromosomes than we do, well, there's a huge problem there, because that means that we don't share a common ancestor with the apes. So you guys have to defend this. But the problem is that, and I hope people are paying attention to this idea, these notions, they cannot be defended. Like, you cannot prove that this was actually a fusion site. And a matter of fact, the actual data that's out there is against it.
And there's a guy in the chat that was saying that he's a Christian and thinks there's a chromosome 2 fusion site. And the thing is, well, if that's true, then yeah, that's all the more reason why we don't have a stake in this. It's not really a big deal if it's there or not with us. I mean, come on, like, what do we have to lose, whether it's there or not? Honestly, it seems like they have a lot more to lose than we do.
Yeah, I mean, quite honestly, the only reason why I care about this, I have a reason why I care about it, because I think it's important for people to realize that, look, at this evidence doesn't support what they're saying. If there's no common ancestor, if there's no evidence that we share a common ancestor with the apes, this is a huge problem for them. But again, if I were to be proven wrong on this, and that there was a fusion site, well, then, I mean, I wouldn't care, because it would be more important to me the information content within inside of the chromosomes. That's what actually matters to me, the information behind it. That's one of the core issues that are being talked about a lot with intelligent design. A lot of you guys know this, the information content. So the arranging or the packaging of the chromosomes, that's of little concern to me. But to them, this is actually really important. I mean, they have to defend this. And I hope that people are really paying attention to that and really talking or thinking about these criticisms, because the criticisms that I'm giving you are valid. They've been confirmed by Tompkins after I made the criticisms, and he's bringing in even more criticisms that just pile up against these evolutionist claims. So I hope that everybody who's listening is thinking about it. You get somebody like, for example, Heavy Hauler, who I've been seeing a lot in these rooms. You get somebody like some of these other evolutionists, no matter what you say, they're not going to listen. They're going to go carry on and act like, well, you just deny science and you're in your little box and you just can't understand things like this. They're delusional, and I'm more than willing to bet that most of them, they don't even really understand the topic anyways. And I know that because some of these people that be giving me articles about some of this stuff, they don't realize that some of the articles that they're giving me doesn't even have anything to do with the topic. It's usually like a quote that Tompkins has said somewhere in the past, and some articles somewhere, and then he's being criticized by some other scientists for making some sort of statements. But it doesn't deal with any of these criticisms about tumor cells, the telomere fusion, the lack of telomeric sequences that you're observing. None of those criticisms have been refuted. I mean, none of them have. And hopefully, I mean, it's sad that we got people like Heavy Haulers, some of these people that they'll think that the obnoxious and charismatic behavior of a lot of these evolutionists in a room is equivalent to a refutation. That's sad, because if they were to really sit back and listen to what we're saying, they'd understand that these people who are acting like they've got something, like some hardcore, just straight ownage, proof, that they really don't. They don't have anything. And it's quite honestly, I think that a lot of the responses, they've just been just straight laughable.
Yeah, this seems like they're taking this to levels that really have absolutely nothing to do with the subject matter at hand. Like, you generally don't see believers, or, if we even take that, or less than that, believers or unbelievers, let's say intelligent design / creationists and evolutionists. In my experience, I don't generally see creationists or intelligent design proponents in their hangouts, leaving trolling comments while they have hangouts in the chat. You just don't see that. But they always feel the need to leave all these trolling comments every time you start a hangout or Neff start a hangout or whatever, and they just take it to levels that go beyond the subject matter, and it's coming from something else clearly.
Right. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Okay, great. Because like I said, my mic, the wire, I think it's messing up on my mic. What you were saying, I mean, that's just like 100% true. When I'm talking to these people or I see them reacting to some of the things that I'm saying, it's just ridiculous, because a lot of the times they want to try to talk and say, well, you know what? True doesn't understand anything. He doesn't get or understand any of these topics that we're talking about. He's an idiot. He gets science wrong so bad. Great. Then why are you spending so much time responding to me? Why are you spending so much time drawing attention to me then if I don't know what I'm talking about? Huh?
Exactly.
Because, I see a lot of people that I think don't know what they're talking about in the comment section, trollish type of remarks and so on. And I don't pay attention to them. I don't pay attention to them. So, that's how I would expect them to react to me if they're looking at me that way.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And I know some of our fellow brothers believe in a flat earth, and this is no shot against them, because I personally still don't believe in it yet. But, it would be that you would be ignored just as much as a flat earth person, because you don't see a bunch of scientists in mainstream circles or a bunch of people on YouTube trying to jump and refute flat earthers that go out their way to even, acknowledge their existence, more or less. So
can you see what I'm screen sharing?
Yeah, Well, yeah, what my
Steve over here in the hangout, in the comment section, and he says, "See, so he says, so you don't confuse other people who want to learn science correctly." Now, I'm going to say this point blank because I know that he's in the comment section, so I'm going to say this so that he can hear me. Steve, you don't understand science correctly, and we confronted that the other day. When you're talking about a Robertsonian translocation has ever been observed, ever, and has never been known or has ever been recorded to make these telomeric-like sequences that we're seeing inside of the human chromosome 2 fusion site. Robertsonian translocations happen usually with chromosomes that are within close proximity, and they fuse at the centromeres. You didn't know what you were talking about, just like many other times in the past, you didn't know what you were talking about. So you need to be a little bit more humble. You see, you don't realize and you don't understand, Steve, why I've been trying to get you inside of a room. I'm trying to get you in a room with me. So for one reason, to make an example out of you. That's the only reason why I want you in a room. I've listened to you in rooms, and I understand how it's going to go if I can get you a room and we can have a discussion. That's why I want you in a room. So what you need to understand here is that you need to be humble here. You don't know the science as well as you do. And if you were to start being a little bit more open-minded here, you would realize and understand why people like myself or Neffy or other of us, we don't take you seriously.
Meant to say he doesn't know it as well as he may think he do, because you said that he don't know it as well as he does. They may try to flip that on you in a second. You see what I'm saying? I know what you meant, but they'll try to flip that on you in a second.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I know they would try to flip it on me. That doesn't surprise me. But I mean, even Phony Beetle Maniacs, he says it's because you are spreading misinformation. No, I'm not. I'm spreading facts. There's not one thing that I've said here at all that's been misinformation. Not one thing. What I've said about the tumorous cells, what ends up happening, telomere fusions and tumorous cells, that's 100% correct. What I said about Robertsonian translocation, that's 100% true. These people, like Fiona, passing along and talking about these Robertsonian translocations being equivalent to these telomere fusions, they are lying to you. That is not true. That's like me telling you 2 + 2 is 7. That's not true. They're denying facts and reality and presenting it in a way to where they're deceiving people, as if just basically generalizing translocation events. And they specifically said Robertsonian translocations. They're lying. And I mean, I hope people are paying attention to this, because this is not like some small thing that's up for interpretation here, or just a misunderstanding. They're saying things that are not true. They're getting around points that I'm bringing to you guys, and acting as if, well, it's like it doesn't matter. That's really, really important here. If telomeric sequences that are found, what are 20 or 30% of them that are found inside of tumorous cells, they're cancerous, or some sort of effect like that happens, that's really important here. If those are the only types of telomeric sequences that we find in cancerous tumorous cells. So I mean, these are facts. This is all science. Everything that I'm saying to you guys, this is all science. These are the facts. And this information that I'm presenting to you guys, what the people on your side of the community are doing, they're trying to jump over these points, go around issues, and conflate information so that they can try to make this chromosome 2 fusion site make sense. That's what they're trying to do. So, and Steve used that Robertsonian translocation with the 44 chromosome man with Tommy when he was speaking to him. He lied. He, right through his teeth, well, let me say it like this. He either lied or he didn't know or understand what he was talking about. There's only two options here, because either way, what he said was factually incorrect.
And let me give a little experience of mine in my years of debating the abortion issue. I've been running a forum for the last several years, and if I believed that there were pro-choicers in other forums spreading misinformation and disinformation, I didn't go to their forums trolling them about it. What I did was I put the accurate information on my forum, and then if they want to take it up with me, they could come to my forum and talk about it. I didn't go to their forums trolling, feeling like I needed to keep misinformation or disinformation from being spread. I just be like, okay, if they saw me on mine, I would put up the right information on my own. I don't consume myself with what they're doing, because if I know they're saying crap, I'll just put the right information on my forum and just, leave it at that. If people want to come to my forum and have a discussion with me, I give them the right information. And in the same way, I think that's how it should be done. Not going out of the way to think you need to have some mission to try to correct disinformation, because it gets to a level to where it seems like it's beyond you believing that you gotta stop false information. Why don't you just put the correct information up on your own page and just leave it at that? Don't go to other people's pages, because it makes it seem like it's a personal issue at that point. When you talk about somebody around the clock, go to their pages around the clock, it goes to a level to where it gets beyond just the information. And that's just the bottom line.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, no amount of information is going to get through them. I noticed that every time we talk about something, like literally almost every single time we talk about something, they try to like skim what we're saying and search around what we're saying for a keyword or a statement that we say, and then they go and make a hangout about it and just blow it way out of proportion and take it out of context and twist things. So I mean, that's the difficult thing about talking to these types of people that have such strong views. They're gonna take everything that we say out of context, and they're just gonna twist information to the point to where it's like, all right, there's no point talking to them. I mean, with some of these people like Steve or Sam or Fiona or these other people, JD Kain, you might as well just be speaking to a brick wall. It's the truth. I mean, you might as well be speaking to a brick wall. Like this hangout that we were sharing earlier. What these hangouts amount to is a group of people who have been refuted several different times, whining about it and complaining about it. And I really, really mean that. Like, I've sat back and I've listened to Matt Slick just clobber these guys. And all of the people who have been clobbered, just been made to look like a fool, will all gather in the next hangout that has Matt Slick in the title, and they'll all be running their mouth and they'll all be getting carried away, like you just saw them here on JD Kane's hangout. And this hangout with JD Kain, you look at the people that are in there: Sam, Steve. Let me show you guys, because I'm going to be ending this hangout soon, anyways. If you guys look at all these people in these rooms, Steve, Dragnocked, Sam, Fiona, I don't know what this dude is with the green pillow or the blue background. All these people here, and many of the people that are inside of Steve's hangouts whenever he runs them, they've all been refuted by me in one way or another. We've all got a history. I've got a history with almost all of them. So that's the reason why you see them all getting together and getting carried away. I mean, you can go look at my discussion with Dragnock. Look how that went. If you go check out some of Brett Keen's earlier hangouts and discussions, look at how when I bring certain points up, like he's silent, he doesn't know what to say. He's dumbfounded a lot. Listen to some of these other discussions or videos that I put up about a lot of these people, or my discussion that I had with JD Kain on G-Man's channel. I mean, a lot of the times these people have screwed up bad, and they've been made to look like a fool of. Don't be deceived. I mean, really, when you're seeing these people group together like they're doing, and they're running their mouth like they are, they might be charismatic. It might be, it might seem like they're making some sort of points or something, but don't allow that atmosphere to deceive you as if they're actually bringing information or points. It's just a lot of condescending remarks and obnoxious responses. Use a little bit of wisdom when you're listening to these guys, because because obnoxious responses like this, they're not equivalent to a refutation.
Yeah, I feel you, man. Yeah, it's if it's gotten to the point to where it's gotten beyond the information and the discussion, it's gotten personal, quite frankly, and that's just sad. That's all I'm gonna say on that. It's just sad.
And if people don't believe me, let me scroll through some of these videos so you can check out my. Give me a second right here. Phony Maniac says that he doubts it. I'll link you guys so that you guys can check out some of my discussions with them. All right. So Phony Beatlemaniac says that he doubts it concerning Dragnoct. Here's my discussion with Steve. You guys remember how that went, right? Steve, he didn't even know how to respond to a claim to where I'm asking him for his evidence. And there was so many fallacies going on right there. But this is not the one that I'm looking for. Give me 1 second here. Well, I've got like over 200 videos.
While you're looking for that, that's why I was like, we all need to get in the room and talk about this stuff like adults. Don't play this he said, she said crap with talking in one room while the other person ain't there to defend themselves, and then just playing this kind of this over here and over there type crap, high school nonsense. I mean, if we can't even be adults and deal with this stuff on an adult level, then that's just sad. That's really sad.
You see, the point is that, I mean, a lot of these discussions that I have with these people, they end up being forgotten, and these guys, they run their mouth so much to the point to where it's like they act like they've got things to offer. But you've seen my discussions with these people, Dave Vass or Dragnoct. Most of my one-on-one discussions, they're very respectful and they're very calm. And you see, whenever they're respectful and calm, how they go. And everybody who's watching this, go check out this discussion that I had with Dragnoct. Go see how it went, and then listen to how obnoxious and overcharismatic he gets when he's in other rooms. There's a lot of other videos out there to where me and Dragnoct have had discussions. So I would say his are a lot more varied. Like I believe it was in Brett Keen's channel a while ago. I mean, we've had all sorts of discussions on G-Man's channel and so on. And almost every single time, I mean, this is pretty much how it goes. And I've never been rude to him about any of this. I've never been disrespectful to him about any of this. Never tried to press it in his face. I've just, I've been respectful and calm. But I'm bringing up things like this now because, okay, I got people like him running in their mouth and just being disrespectful and arrogant and being condescending about things that they very clearly don't really understand or have a good grasp in. I mean, really, Drag is learning or has learned some of the basics in chemistry now and in biology, but he's not really on a level, I think, to where he can actually talk about this stuff. And I need to be careful how I say that, because maybe he can talk about some of the stuff in biology or chemistry, but I just think that I just don't think that he's, I don't know how to put it. He doesn't know how to utilize information in a way to actually make a good point. Like if he's talking to somebody like Tommy, I think the best thing that he can actually do is maybe try to sharpshoot somebody with some information. But yeah, that's pretty much as far as it goes. But all I'm saying is that, check out this discussion with that I had with Dragnoct. Watch it. It's not that long. It's only about 37 minutes long. And then just watch how it went. I've got, several different discussions on my channel. I've talked with DPR Jones. I've talked with all sorts of different people. And, Usually they're respectful, but you can quickly see that a lot of these people who criticize me and run their mouth, when they're in a room with me and I can talk with them, all of that obnoxious responses that they have in their own little hangouts and stuff, it's quickly dismantled. I mean, it quickly doesn't get them anywhere when they're in a room with me. That's why I prefer having them in a discussion with me, because these people, they want me, like, for example, when I was talking with Dragnoct in my room, that was a respectful discussion. It stayed calm. It stayed very, very well mannered and so on. But as later on, after I had a discussion with him on, I believe it was Xbox's channel, whole room was filled with atheists. I had to raise my voice just so that I can get my point across. People were interrupting numerous times, just being obnoxious and condescending, including Dragnoct. He was acting completely different there because he was in the company of his atheist buddies. And that's the reason why, like, these people, they have to be kept under control like this. You have to get them in a room to where they'll stay quiet and they'll start responding to you respectfully, because, you know, that's the only way that you can get them and into a position to where they'll start dealing with your points. And when you get them in a position to where they have to deal with their points and they calm down and they stay quiet, you start to realize that all of that obnoxious, condescending remarks that they're making in other hangouts, it's just a lot of fluster. It's a lot of exaggeration. They can't really back up those statements in a calm, respectful manner. They need that. They need they need those types of interrupting rooms where they're all laughing and being condescending to every point and move that the Christian makes. They need that because they don't have any good refutations. All they have is a teenager, like, childish behavior. That's all they've got.
Yeah, like you, brother. I like one-on-one discussions. If I feel I'm confident in something, then I want to engage people in more one-on-one discussions. The reason why I haven't had any one-on-one discussions on these issues is because I'm still learning a whole lot, and I'm not confident in a one-on-one discussion at this particular time in this issue. But when I talk about things like the abortion issue, I can go one-on-one with anybody. And every blue moon, when I feel like going into a pro-choice forum and I just get pounced on by so many people and they don't really like hear what I'm saying, I would challenge these people to one-on-one discussions. And pretty much every time they would turn me down. They would never want to get me in a one-on-one anything. Like,
I prefer one-on-one discussions. One-on-one discussions, I think that's the best way to go. Like Steve,
absolutely.
Yeah, so Steve, the way that he wants his room set up, for example, or Redline, or a lot of these other people, they like having 9 other atheists with them or 8 other atheists with them, and then having just one Christian coming in by themselves. Like, for example, remember the discussion that I had with John Sabator on my channel? That was pretty calm. I mean, he got pretty mad at me and left really quick. But if you watch the discussion that he had the day before that on Steve's channel with Tommy, they were all interrupting him. They would not let Tommy just get a word out. Every time Tommy would try to speak, or the moment he would say something that they didn't like, they would all laugh at him or give him an attitude or just overtalk him. That's what happens on Steve's channels, especially with somebody who will be bold with them and will defend their position or their stances. That's how they typically tend to act. So, I mean, like, that's nonsense. I mean, none of us should really have to put up with that. I mean, even on the Christian channel, sometimes, you know, you may get a little bit of interruption, but it doesn't happen anywhere like that. The one time when I went over to Fiona's hangout, for example, what was happening in there? I mean, I was getting called a stupid effing bastard before I came in, and afterwards, people were raising their voice and yelling at me just for trying to read the article. They gave me an article about this, I believe it was about the DNA breaking down in water situation, and I was just trying to read the article, and none of them would shut up long enough for me to read the article.
But would any of them have a one-on-one discussion on your channel or anyone else's channel, theirs, anyone else's? Would they have a one-on-one discussion with you anywhere?
Oh yeah, I've had one-on-one discussions with a lot of them, man. I mean, you can check on my channel. I've got all sorts of one-on-one these guys. I don't know if I've actually. Let me check through this really quick because I don't know if I had a one-on-one with. No, the Rumpus I was actually supposed to have a one-on-one with. Yeah, the Rumpus didn't show up.
Okay.
Yeah, but I did have a discussion with. Had a discussion with Emma Martis, a one-on-one with him, with Red Line. I've had a one-on-one with a lot of people.
Okay, that's good.
I've been telling Steve, if Steve were to come into the room, it's going to be respectful and calm. I'm not going to be BS'd or anything like that, and he's not going to like try to talk or dominate the room the whole time to the point to where I can't speak. That's not going to happen.
If you had a one-on-one with him.
Yeah, so I would love to have a one-on-one with him if you'd like to. I don't want to. One thing with Steve though, like, is Steve. I'm assuming. I think he might want me to go on his channel. I think I'm only assuming that, but I wouldn't want to go on Steve's channel. Well, for one reason, because he doesn't really get a lot of views. He only gets about like I think he's only got about like 300 subscribers, and there's not going to be a lot of people watching that. If he were to come on my channel, we would get more views on my channel. So I would prefer for him to come on my channel so that we can have a discussion to begin with. And I don't want to go into a room where there's going to be 9 other people inside of that room because I know I'm not going to be treated fairly. I know that I'm not going to be treated fairly. I've been to too many of these rooms to where I've learned my lesson. I know exactly how it's going to be. And I'm not trying to get into some screaming match with somebody that doesn't want to sit and have a civil discussion, Yeah,
I would say you can have a one-on-one on Steve's channel as long as he agrees not to let anyone else into the conversation. Then y'all can have it on his channel if he wants. No?
Yeah, but like I said, I'd prefer it to be on my channel, or if he didn't want it on my channel, somebody that has a decent viewer base. Because if I have a discussion with Steve, there's not going to be a lot of people who are going to watch it. Like with Steve, if you watch his hangouts, like he'll have an 8-hour hangout running, and it'll only get probably about like 300 views, maybe 400 views. That's pretty much my average. I can put up a 15-minute video and then I'll have 300 or 400 views even. If I were to have people share that, like one of these hangouts that I were in, it'd probably get somewhere around like 700 to maybe 1,000 views per video. So if we were going to set up a discussion and we were going to advertise that, then that video is going to get a decent amount of views, and that's what I would prefer to happen.
Okay.
So if I don't have any problem having a discussion with them, we don't have to have it on my channel. We can have it on somebody else's channel if we want to, some neutral ground if that's how it's going to be. But I want to make sure that whoever it's going to be, they're going to be fair, first of all, and they're going to have a decent viewer base, because I'm not putting up these videos to hear myself speak. I'm putting up these videos because I'm trying to express my views, and I'm trying to get as many people to hear these views as possible. That's one of the main reasons why I'm here online. So it doesn't have to happen here on my channel, but preferably somebody who's going to have a viewer base to where hopefully people are going to be able to hear it.
Yeah, if someone with a decent viewer base will allow me to be a moderator or something like that, I would definitely be open for that. Obviously can't do it on my channel right now because I just started. I got like 5 subs. But yeah, man, I would definitely be very, very fair because I don't take BS from anybody, man. So, but
rational mind. Yes, I know. When the other night when Steve linked to me, usually when I respond, I mute the post so that I don't receive any more messages. Yes, I did see your message. Yeah, I do. We can have a discussion. The two of us can have a discussion. Just pick your topic, and I'll have to get back to you. I'm not going to be able to do it anytime this week, but sometime soon we can have our discussion with each other. But absolutely, we can talk. I'm assuming you don't have any problem with having it on this channel, right? I'll wait for him to respond. I don't know if he want to respond. But usually, if I don't get back to people whenever they're linking, like when I'm linked to an atheist post, I usually I'm usually muting the post, and that's because every time somebody messages me, an atheist messages me, there's like a 30, I don't know what it is, like 30 or 40 different people that are just following behind that post, and they're all responding to me, and I can't keep up with all those responses. And there's no way I'm trying to have a discussion with, all of these people in the comment section. So usually whenever you don't see me get back to you, that's because I've muted the post, because I'm not trying to, receive all those remarks of people saying I'm an idiot, uneducated, or, attacking my parents. I don't want to hear any of that nonsense, or, it's just a waste of my time.
Who are you talking about, the one-on-one with again? Who are you talking about again?
Well, right now I'm just talking about that because people, they wonder why I don't get back to them sometimes. That's because if an atheist links me, like Steve, for example, after I respond to them, I usually mute the post so that I don't receive any more messages from that post. Because
okay, because I'm just looking at the chat here, and Steve says, like, go one-on-one with the rational mind.
Oh, yeah, I just said that. Yeah, Steve, I don't have any problem talking with Rational Mind. Me and Rational Mind were supposed to speak a while ago, I believe. If it's the right guy that I'm thinking of. We've never actually talked with each other, but we were supposed to have a discussion a while back. I don't know where this guy's level of understanding is, what he knows, what he doesn't know. So I don't know how the discussion is going to go. Hopefully,
I will say he definitely seems to have some knowledge. At least he seems to have some sort of a clue of what's going on. I mean, he seems very knowledgeable at points to where he's putting certain things up in the comments. I mean, from my face value understanding things, he definitely seems like a knowledgeable dude. So it could be a fruitful discussion. You never know, man.
Yeah, I hope so. But absolutely, if he wants to have a discussion with me, I usually don't turn anybody down. So if he wants to have a discussion, we can have a discussion. Absolutely. That's a 100% okay from me. So whenever you want to have a discussion, just let me know when we can have this discussion, and then we'll try to set something up. And let me know what that discussion is going to be about, too. CRISPR, I believe you said that you wanted to have a discussion before. So as CRISPR says, TE, how about a discussion hosted by either JD Kain or Veckel? Well, it's definitely not going to be JD Kain. I don't mind if it's Veckel.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
So yeah, guys, I'm gonna probably end this hangout soon.
Yeah, nice hangout. True. Thanks for having me, man.
All right. Yeah, no problem, man. I love having you in my hangouts.
Yeah,
Always some.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel the Z's come on myself. Yeah, so.
Yeah, guys, and the reason why I didn't make this this link active, guys, is because I just got back from work at like 3 a.m, and there was no way I was about to start debating anybody right now. I got to get myself to sleep. It's getting close to 6 o'clock in the morning where we're at, guys. So, yeah, I guess I'll end this hangout soon.
All right, until the next one, God bless you, brother. Keep doing what you're doing, man.
All right, God bless everybody. Take it easy.